When you're standing in front of a shelf of camcorders, the biggest question is usually, will this actually let me capture what I need without turning the whole process into a nightmare? I get that hesitation because I've seen people buy a pricey camera, only to end up fighting with autofocus, fiddling with menus, or getting a shaky clip that looks like it was shot on a phone. The goal of this review is to cut through the marketing blur and give you a clear picture of whether the Canon XA75 will fit into your workflow, save you time, and actually deliver the quality you expect. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about what makes the XA75 different from the typical consumer camcorder you might rent for a wedding or use for a YouTube vlog. The biggest headline is the 1-inch CMOS sensor paired with 4K UHD recording. That sensor size is the same you find in many higher-end mirrorless bodies, which means you get better depth-of-field control and noticeably less noise in low-light situations compared with the tiny sensors in most point-and-shoot camcorders. The 15 optical zoom is also a step up. It's not a digital stretch, it's a true lens movement that retains detail across the frame, and the built-in image stabilization works hard enough that you can walk around a conference hall and still get smooth footage without a gimbal. If you're a freelance videographer who regularly shoots corporate interviews, live streams, or documentary brawl, the dual XLR audio inputs are a game changer. Most camcorders only give you a 3.5mm mic jack, which forces you to use adapters or compromise on audio quality. With the XA75 you can plug directly into professional microphones or even a small mixer, and the audio levels are controllable on camera, so you don't have to go back into post to fix clipping. The USB-C live streaming port means you can output a clean 4K feed straight to a streaming platform without needing a capture card, which saves both money and desk space. Now, the flip side. The camcorder's menu system is built around Canon's DSLR heritage, which means there are a lot of layers to get through before you hit the setting you need. If you're used to a one-button start recording workflow, you'll notice a bit of friction the first few times. The touchscreen is responsive, but the physical dials are still essential for quick focus pulls or zoom adjustments, and that learning curve can feel steep if you've never dealt with a camcorder that offers both manual and auto options in the same hand. Battery life is respectable at around 2.5 hours of continuous shooting, but that drops quickly if you're using the LCD screen at maximum brightness or recording 4K at 60 frames per second. You'll want spare LPE6 batteries on hand for a full-day shoot. Low-light performance is where the 1-inch sensor really shines. I tested the XA75 in a dimly lit restaurant, and the footage stayed clean up to an ISO of 3200 without the kind of grain you see on smaller sensors. The dual-pixel AF kept subjects in focus even when they moved across the frame, which is a relief for anyone who isn't comfortable constantly refocusing by hand. That said, the autofocus can hunt a bit when you're trying to track a fast-moving subject in a very dark environment, so you'll still benefit from adding a light source or using manual focus in those edge cases. Stabilization is another practical strength. The 5-axis system works well for handheld walking shots, but it does have a limit. If you start panning very quickly or use the full 15 zoom while moving, you'll notice a slight wobble. That's why many professionals still pair the XA75 with a shoulder rig for extended runs, especially when shooting events where you need to stay mobile and maintain smooth motion. The rig adds a bit of bulk, but it's a relatively inexpensive solution that turns the camcorder into a near-professional setup. Who should consider buying the XA75? If you're a small business owner who needs to produce corporate videos, training modules, or product demos on a regular basis, the combination of 4K quality, reliable autofocus, and XLR audio makes it a solid all-in-one solution. It also fits hobbyists who are serious about stepping up from smartphone footage and want a dedicated device that can handle both run-and-gun shooting and controlled interview setups. The built-in lens means you won't have to buy separate glass, which keeps the system lightweight and ready to go out of the box. On the other hand, if you're primarily shooting static scenes like landscape time-lapses, or you're a pure YouTuber who prefers a small, flip-screen camera that fits in a backpack, the XA75 might feel overkill. Its size larger than a typical vlog cam and its menu depth could be more than you need, and you'd likely be better served by a mirrorless camera with interchangeable lenses if you want flexibility in focal length. Likewise, if you're on a tight budget and can't afford spare batteries or a shoulder rig, you may end up spending more on accessories than the camcorder.